I want to introduce you to Grace, a 65-year-old patient of mine who went from struggling to walk 10 minutes to easily hiking with her friends in just a few weeks. In this video, I'll show you the 3 simple exercises Grace used to rebuild her leg strength and eliminate her pain, allowing her to walk up hills with ease and regain her active lifestyle. But first, let me show you why walking up hills can become harder and harder as we get older. It's something I wish all my patients knew sooner. It all comes down to sarcopenia, which is the loss of muscle mass as we get older, which starts in our 30s. But here's the deal. There is substantial muscle loss after age 50, and this loss affects the strength in our legs, thighs, hips, and knees, all crucial for walking up hills. But not all hope is lost. Research shows that we can reverse sarcopenia with one simple approach, and that is progressive strength training, or PST. Think of your legs as the foundation of an old building. Over time, that foundation may weaken, leaving everything above it feeling unsteady and maybe fragile. But with PST, it's like adding new bricks, one by one, gradually rebuilding your base until it stands strong and steady again, restoring your confidence to stand tall and move freely once more. Now, just like Grace, I've seen many people in their 60s in my clinic tackle hills and slopes as if they were in their 40s. So now that you understand why strengthening the leg muscles is so important, let's jump into the 3 essential exercises that I gave to Grace to help her conquer those hills with ease. Plus, I'll show you why everything else doesn't really matter. For exercise number 1, we are going to target the 2 biggest muscle groups in our legs, your quads and your glutes. These 2 muscles are responsible for helping us push up an incline, and we can target both of these muscles with one exercise. So let's start by standing feet roughly shoulder width apart with a chair in front of you for support. Now you have 2 options. Option 1, cross your arms if you feel stable, or option 2, hold on to the back of the chair for support. From here, slowly bend at your hips and knees as if you're sitting down on a chair behind you. Keeping your back straight and your quads and glutes engaged, go down as far as you comfortably can, pausing for 2 to 3 seconds, then rise back up using the power from your legs. This movement is called a chair dip or a supported squat. The key is to go up quickly to build power, but lower yourself slowly to build muscle mass and strength. Now, the biggest mistake I see people making is they try to go straight down without bending through the hips. This is not only ineffective, it puts unnecessary pressure on the knees. Rather, do each repetition with your back straight, hips pushed back. This is way more effective at building the power in our glutes and quads. Complete 10 to 15 repetitions per set for a total of 2 to 3 sets, resting for 1 minute between each set. I suggest starting with 3 times per week, with rest days in between to allow your muscles to recover and rebuild. To make things even easier to follow along, I've created a free printable exercise sheet for you. It's got step-by-step instructions with photos of each exercise from today's video, plus a daily tracker to help you stay consistent and see your progress over time. You can download it right now, just click the link in the description below. So with exercise 1, we've strengthened the 2 biggest muscles of our upper legs. Let's move on to exercise number 2, which strengthens our lower legs. This exercise comes from a groundbreaking study which discovered that in order to preserve uphill walking ability, the primary focus of older adults should be on maintaining their ankle power. So for this exercise, we are going to work on building the one key muscle that gives our ankles power and strength to push us up a hill, your calves. Start by standing with your feet shoulder width apart, lightly holding onto a chair or counter in front of you for balance. Shift your weight forward onto your toes and lift your heels off the ground. Hold this position at the top for 5 seconds before slowly lowering your heels back down. Next, reverse this movement, shifting your weight onto your heels and lifting your toes up, holding for 5 seconds again. Repeat this cycle 10 times. Heels up, hold, toes up, hold. This exercise targets the calves in 2 ways. When you push your heels up, you're actually strengthening the calf muscles, but when you lift your toes up, you're stretching them. This movement is also crucial for clearing your toes when you walk, helping you avoid trips and falls on a hill. Now, to make this exercise easier, you can perform the same move while sitting down. To make it a bit more effective, you can add a weight on top of the knees for extra resistance. This is perfect if you want to exercise while watching TV, or if standing is too difficult for you. For a more challenging version, try this exercise at the edge of a step while holding onto the railings. Place the balls of your feet on the step with your heels hanging off. This variation works your ankle joints and muscles through their full range of motion, giving them an extra workout. I recommend doing 10 to 15 repetitions of both heel and toe raises 2 to 3 times per day, roughly 3 to 4 times a week. Okay, let's move on. The next exercise comes from a fascinating study which showed that rather than pushing up, older adults pull themselves up a hill, which results in inefficient use of the hip muscles. So for exercise number 3, we will focus on isolating and strengthening the glutes because they are the biggest pushers. Think of these like the engines of our legs, which provide propulsion upwards. Start by lying on a nice stable surface with your head resting on a pillow, ideally on a mat or a soft carpet, but if you can't get up and down off the floor, it's also fine to use a bed. Bend your knees about as far up as you possibly can. This helps us to activate the glutes a little bit better. Have your hands down by your sides facing up. From here, flatten your back down into the bed or floor slightly by activating your core muscles. From there, push up through your heels by squeezing your bum muscles, lifting up to the top, trying to form a straight line like this. It's okay if you can't get there, lift up as high as you can. Once you're at the top, hold for 2 to 3 seconds, then keep your glutes contracted and slowly bring yourself back down. Now that is a standard glute bridge, and for most people it is sufficient. If you can't do more than 15 of those in a row, just stick with this version. But if you can easily do 15 or more, we're going to do a weighted bridge, which is much more effective at building muscle mass. For this, you can use a bit of weight, like a 10-pound dumbbell or maybe a bag of cans or books. So start by placing a towel on the front of your hips like this to give you some cushion. Then rest the weight on the front of the hips. It should feel comfortable. From here, same move as before, holding the dumbbell in place. Push through the heels by squeezing your glute muscles. Go up as far as you can, aiming to form a straight line, holding for 2 to 3 seconds before slowly bringing yourself back down. By adding a little bit of load, we are isolating your glutes to help them build more strength and power, which is required to go up a steep hill. Now, a common mistake I see is people pushing up too high and arching their backs. It's not necessary. Just go to about neutral. My recommendation is to complete about 15 repetitions, maybe 2 to 3 sets, 3 to 4 times a week. If you stick to that, you're going to notice a dramatic improvement in your uphill walking in the space of about 6 to 8 weeks. This is exactly what happened with Grace, who also improved her ability to walk as well as climb the stairs. Now, the other key piece of advice I gave to Grace, which most people struggle with, is to start small and increase your exercise sets, reps, or weight by 10 to 20% per week. I encourage her to do this slow and steady approach until she reached her goal of being able to hike with her friends. Consistency was crucial for her success. So now that you know how to boost your leg strength and walk up hills easily, here's something even more exciting. Did you know that there's a simple trick that can reverse balance loss and help you walk like you're 20 years younger? Click on this video and I'll show you the one exercise that can instantly improve your balance. It's perfect for anyone over 50. I'll see you there.